Whoa! There's people in there.
Whoa.
That was awesome.
Welcome to the ESA UW-Madison. Well, I'm excited. Would you guys be able to introduce yourselves and tell us how you got involved with Google?
Yeah, sure. Who wants to start?
Great.
Who wants to start?
Should we go left to right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex, Daniel, Joe, Justin, me.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Alex. I'm a Wisconsin business alumni from 2011. I moved out to California shortly after graduating to start working directly at Google. I've worked in a couple of different sales orgs here. I started in SMB sales, or I should stop using acronyms, small and medium business sales, and now currently work in large customer sales, so helping develop digital strategies for some of the larger advertising clients that Google has, hopefully using some of Google's products in there. Yeah, I've been here for about 2.5 years working throughout digital sales. Tiffany, is there anything specifically you want us to go through?
Could you just introduce yourself, please? And kind of just give us a description of what you do in a typical Google workday. A day in life of Google.
Okay, cool. And you guys heard everything I said before, right?
Yes, we got it.
All right, sweet. So a day in the life for me would be coming in around 8:15. I'll go up to one of our cafes, grab an omelet, usually grab some fruit or whatever else is around that day, grab a cup of coffee from our barista, and head down to my desk. And we'll spend probably an hour to 2 hours checking emails from the clients that I work with. Hopefully nothing too crazy comes in the morning. Sometimes we'll have like a panic attack where an advertiser will call in and just be like, I need to get these YouTube videos up like ASAP. We need to get them done yesterday. Can you help us out? So the first 1 or 2 hours is just looking at reactive work. Part of my job is also to go out and travel and talk to our clients face-to-face across the country. So if we have any meetings coming up, we'll usually do some deck building with the immediate team that I work with, and we'll finish the day off just getting on the phone with some of our clients and some of our agencies to make sure that everything is going well for them. That's about it.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Daniel.
All right. I'm Daniel, fellow Big Ten, graduated Northwestern in 2009. I was an industrial engineering major. I did management consulting for a few years in Chicago before coming out to the Bay Area to work for Google. But I'm a Green Bay Packers fan because I moved around a lot. Go Packers, and also rooted for Russell Wilson at the Super Bowl. So feel connections to Wisconsin. I joined Google in 2011 to work for Google Offers. Google Offers at the time, 2009, daily deals started getting really popular, and Google, being an online advertising company, needed to figure out how we could help companies, small businesses, advertise online. And so we launched a product called Google Offers to compete with Groupon. It was really fun. It was a total startup, but I think we got a few things wrong, and we ended up sort of turning away from that product after a year or two. And then I loved working on new businesses at Google, and so I'm on to my now second new business at Google, working on helpouts. Quick poll: has anyone heard of helpouts in the audience? I see a hand or two, maybe 5% of you. Does that sound about right? So helpouts is a new product that Google launched 3 months ago. It's a way for people to connect to experts over live video chat. So imagine it's midnight, you have a big test the next day in calculus, and you just cannot figure out the answer to your question. You can go on to helpouts, and and Morgan just joined me here. Morgan's on the helpouts team, and I just wanted her to see all of you guys. You can go into helpouts and search for calculus help, and right there connect with an expert from MIT or a teacher or something like that, and get help right away. So it's great for tutoring. It's also a great way to learn something new. I'm actually learning how to play the piano over helpouts right now. So I sit at home on my little keyboard, and I have a guy over my shoulder telling me how to hold my hands and learn new scales. So it's a great way to learn something new or get help in areas where you're struggling. We launched helpouts just a few months ago, and excited to be working on it. My days are pretty crazy and varied right now. So on a typical day, I might have a partnership call where we're working with a large business on how they could use helpouts. For example, Coursera, who you might have heard of, is using helpouts for their online classes. I might also think of how I could do some marketing to college campuses. So right now, I've been designing and purchasing an inflatable igloo where you can go on campus and go into this inflatable igloo and practice a helpout. So hopefully the inflatable igloo will be on Madison's campus soon. Stay tuned for that. And then also working on nonprofit initiatives. So actually today, Michelle Obama talked about helpouts and how it's a great way for students to get help applying to colleges.
Awesome, thank you.
Next.
I'm not sure if that's me, but I can go ahead. I'm Joe Koziel. I'm a recent UW graduate, just graduated last May, actually. I'm on the small and medium business services team. So most of my day I spend sitting on the phone and talking to advertisers about their AdWords accounts. So this is anything from troubleshooting accounts to account optimization. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with what the AdWords product is, but basically it's the ads that you see on Google.com. When people type in a particular keyword, ads show up at the top of the screen and on the right-hand side. So a lot of small businesses have these types of accounts, and I'm basically the help center or the help line that they can call if they have any issues or have any questions or need any account optimization.
Cool beans, awesome. What surprised you most when you first started working at the company, Joe?
Well, I was actually an intern also. A few summers back after my junior year. Um, the first thing that really surprised me, obviously all the perks at Google are pretty awesome, but really the people that I was working with were really great. I got to meet tons of great connections. Everybody that I was working with was super motivated, super willing to help out. So it was a really cool culture. And really, I think it was mostly just the people that really made it a great experience up to this point.
Okay, Justin?
Hey everybody, my name is Justin. This is the first time 400 people are actually going to listen to me all at one time. And I'm an associate product marketing manager here at Google, working on a product called Google Wallet. And it's a app on the iPhone and also on the Android phone that allows you to essentially store all your loyalty cards, all your coupons, on that digital wallet, and it also allows you to pay your friends. So if you owe each other for pizza or something, you guys can exchange money on this app. And it's a brand new app that we just launched a few months ago. I'm a graduate of, I went to undergrad in Columbia University up in New York, and I'm actually a Midwest guy also, originally come from Ohio. So it's good to see everybody here in Wisconsin. And yeah, I used to be an intern at Google, originally interning at YouTube, and then right when I graduated from Columbia, I came straight to Google. So this is my first job out of college.
Totally cool. So why did you choose Google instead of a different company?
That's a good question. I think that Google is a company that really lets you have a jump start on your career. So as this being my first job, it's really great to be working at a company that has a lot of innovation going on. You never know what's going to happen next. And this specific role for me as an associate really gives me a lot of responsibility and ownership over the projects I'm working on, and that's a real blessing to have when you first graduate.
Great, awesome. Thank you so much. Alex, what skills did you gain in college that most helped you with your career, do you think? This is weird. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Sorry, could you say that one more time?
I'm sorry. Can you, we're going to introduce. I'm sorry.
Okay, do you want me to go ahead and introduce myself?
Yeah. I got ahead of myself. I'm excited.
All right, before you ask Alice's question, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So I am Jake Stein, and I graduated in 2012 from the Wisconsin School of Business. Prior to that, I was an intern, like most of the guys up here. And I was an intern in inside sales acquisitions. So actually I was helping to acquire new businesses that weren't advertising with Google yet. Essentially what they do in the end of the movie, The Internship, where they get the pizza shop to advertise on Google, if you guys have seen that movie. And then I was a Google student ambassador at UW-Madison my senior year. And then right after graduation, I started on the SMB sales team, similar to Alex. And I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a year and a half, and just recently moved to the large client services sales team, working with financial services clients, big clients like Bank of America, Quicken Loans, helping them with their digital advertising here with Google.
Awesome. So working with all those big clients, what would you say is the most difficult or rewarding, or both of them, aspects of your job?
Yeah, I think I would say the most difficult thing would be, I think it's obvious to us in our generation, but convincing them of the value of digital advertising versus traditional marketing, and trying to convince them to spend more digitally versus getting them to spend on YouTube versus versus a television buy, which is difficult because a lot of those sales are done via relationship, and these traditional marketers have been around for forever. They're probably the godfather of the CEO's kid, so it's difficult to make those inroads and connections. But once you do, and once you can really develop that relationship along with voicing the value of digital marketing, you end up getting your message across. But I would say that's definitely one of the largest challenges that I face.
Interesting. Thank you so much. All right, from here on out, we're going to be pulling from questions from the audience, and so just free for all whoever wants to answer. All right, so a question from John Hurt. What do you think would be the ideal candidate for Google? Now that you guys have worked there for some time, we're kind of seeing the general vibe of the atmosphere.
I'll jump in. So before I answer that, I think almost all of us who are on this panel as Googlers came from the internship. Just from a show of hands on your end, how many of you guys are aware of the business internship that Google has? Nice. So that was a really good experience coming in because it allowed us to get a sense of what Google does and how Google operates. And successful candidates, successful employees at Google are really able to navigate ambiguity. For example, within my role, I may go days or weeks without seeing my boss. And even when I do see my boss, there's no one really telling me that I have to do a specific thing. So being able to just take your day and mold it and shape it to be productive, I think this applies across Google in general. To make your own schedule and make your own work will make you pretty successful here.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, our second question from him. What value does Google see most when recruiting, in your opinion?
I guess I can jump in here. As Alex said, navigating ambiguity is huge. So if you're a person that loves structure, Google may not be the company for you because a lot of times you are left to make up your, kind of here's a quote or here's a goal, figure out a way to do it, which is good because you get a lot of responsibility, and it's definitely not a place where you're going to be micromanaged whatsoever. So that's obviously a key skill, and I would say I know this is a time in particular where you guys are starting to prep your resumes and maybe applying to the bold internship, and some of the most useful advice that I got, and I think it still applies today, is when you're actually filling out your resume and you're thinking about all of your accomplishments and what you've done. Anybody can really list a laundry list of accomplishments, but make sure that you're listing your accomplishments and why they made a difference. I think that's key, and being able to put numbers behind it is always helpful. So if you said I was on the board of the ESA, that may not be looked at as much as I was on the board of ESA and organized an event. Where we put 400 had a panel of Googlers with 400 students, and then maybe even taking that a step further and saying what the students got out of that, or, I guess saying what was actionable and what, how what you've done has made a difference. So that's kind of my 2 cents there.
Yeah, to add one thing on what Jacob said. So navigating ambiguity is really important. We're not going to micromanage you at Google, but navigating ambiguity isn't something you can put on your resume. You can't say, and I navigated ambiguity. So you have to think through, how do people who are hiring sift out people who are good at navigating ambiguity? And so one of the ways which everyone says leadership is important on campus, and it's not clear why. And the reason leadership is really important is because leaders have to navigate ambiguity. Like if you're the president of a club, you don't really report to anybody. But you need to make that club have an impact, like say host a bunch of events and do some good in the community. And so taking on leadership positions that show why something you were doing is difficult and didn't have a clear path to success, and how you did things to make to create structure for yourself, helps people who are hiring know that you're good at that sort of thing.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, question from Emily Doxeter. As an alumni, do you have any other words of wisdom for the seniors who will be graduating in the next year?
So I came from the marketing department. Yeah, or one of my majors was in marketing. And so that work actually translated really well into what I do now. It's a lot of group projects, basically. It's a lot of deck building. It's a lot of presentations. So if that's stuff that you like, if that's stuff that you would like but struggle with now, I would say to refine those skills, especially with like presentations. Like nobody likes presenting when they first start presenting. I remember going up there with those like PowerPoint decks and just like, ugh, this is not what I want to be doing right now. But I mean, eventually it gets to the point where you don't have a problem speaking over like a video conference to like 400 people, or you don't have a problem speaking to the CEO of a Fortune 100 company about why they're doing their digital strategy wrong. It's just something that you like practice the skills that you want to develop further and be successful with in your professional career now, because they will really come back and help you out.
Yeah, and one of the skills that you can also practice is kind of looking at, if you guys are into the business side of things, looking at real-world situations. So maybe read the Times or the Wall Street Journal and think about what kind of problems these companies face in advertising and marketing and sales and human resources, whatever. And then think about how you would accomplish or meet those goals if you were the CEO of a company or something. It just really gets your brain thinking creatively and strategically, and it can be really helpful on a day-to-day basis at a job like this.
Awesome. So really just focusing in on the aspects that we want to pursue and trying to develop those skills, right? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay. The next question is...
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, sorry. Okay. What has led to the success of Google for so many years, in your opinion? We all know it's a phenomenal search engine. We obviously see it every day.
Yeah, I think I can try to speak to this. In my opinion, what's led to Google's success has just been focusing on the user and then all else following. And I think that's something that we've done a really great job at, is focusing on making a product great for the user, and then usually that ends up in some sort of ad revenue or something down the line for us. I would say the other big thing is failing fast. We always talk about that here at Google, is having the ability to, even if you launch a new project, for example, I know that Daniel was talking about offers, and although it might have not worked out right away, just knowing right away that it's not going to lead to what we originally thought it was, or there's going to be more barriers, and learning to pull the plug quickly instead of getting attached to something. And I think we've done that with quite a few different projects, and I think both of those things have helped lead to Google's success.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. 90% of startups, or whatever the number is that's very high, 90% of startups fail, and that's no different than at Google. But that doesn't mean that we don't keep trying, and we're not going to give up on trying to build new great things for our customers.
Yeah, building off that, it's more so a constant hunger to innovate and find new, better ways of doing things. Even if something's working, there's always a way to improve it, always ways to make it better. So really just never stopping trying to innovate and improve what already is existing.
I will also say that it's a pretty forward-thinking company. Sometimes you can get siloed in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, really focus on just like, I need to get this done, I have these projects, I have these clients, I have this work I need to do, and you forget how amazing and how forward-thinking this company is when it comes to some of their far-out projects like self-driving cars, for example. That's something that you're not going to see a lot of where the foundation is coming, advertising companies really going out and doing. And I think that's really cool, and something that also helps to make this company successful.
Yeah, and the company sets really big goals. Usually we call these 10x goals, so 10 times. And if you look online and look up, Google and their moonshot thinking, basically the whole company wants to shoot for the highest goal possible, and that trickles down to everybody else inside the organization. So from the executives down to people on the associate level, everybody's setting big goals for themselves and for their teams. So that really keeps the whole company ambitious.
Sounds good. All right, all you guys who are here, we have 10 minutes left, so if you have any questions, write them down in the part of passing the aisle, and then we can ask them. Okay. Awesome. So while they are doing that, we have a couple more for you. What is your favorite part about working at Google?
Yeah, I think I touched on that a little bit when I spoke earlier, but I really do enjoy everybody that I work with, working with a lot of really smart people every day, a lot of really innovative people. So that's definitely, one of the major things. Obviously, everybody hears about the perks, the free food, the free transportation to and from work, all of that stuff is awesome. But I do think more so the culture that they've created around this constant innovation, and more so, the really collaborative environment that they've created in the workplace is something that's really unique.
Awesome, thank you.
Just real quick to echo that, I would describe the people as the best thing about Google. So like imagine in all the group project work that you guys do, there's usually like that one all-star person who will take on the majority of the work, who will pick up the slack, who will go above and beyond for that project. Imagine just working in groups with just all-star people for every project, and that's a lot what it's like at Google.
All right. I know you guys talked about how important it was to prep ourselves for careers and to really focus on the different aspects we want to develop. But is there something else you did in your college to really prepare you for an internship or career specifically at Google?
Would you be able to repeat that? It cut out a little bit.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. All right, is there something you did in college to really prepare you for your internship or career at Google?
Yeah, actually, I think it was Alex that talked about taking on leadership roles, and I really think that besides, or maybe it was Daniel. Actually, it was Daniel. Sorry. Instead of just joining organizations that already exist and taking a leadership position as a president or vice president, it's a really good idea to think about voids and things that are missing on a college campus. So for me, like I did a mini startup for textbook exchange. So it was like a free way for students to exchange textbooks online. And it was kind of a really simple thing for me to market and for somebody else to build. But it really opened my eyes to what technology can do and what it's like to start something from the ground up. So really think about maybe starting a club or starting a nonprofit or a company or whatever. Those things will really give you more perspective about what it's like to work on projects here at Google.
Yeah, and don't just start something because we're telling you to start something. Like, you should do something you like, and you should do something that's interesting to you. And if that's like to be the best magician because you like doing magic, like, you should just do that. But you should think about like what it is that you like to do and could enjoy doing more of and could bring to more people, because that will be where you'll be the most successful. And if you just join the business club because you think being the president of the business club will like look good on your resume, if you don't have much interest in it, that'll generally come across in an interview because you won't have that spark and that excitement. And like generally everybody at Google is just excited all the time about stuff. We're like, oh my God, we're inventing the future. We're building driverless cars and contact lens diabetes savers and internet robots. And so we're just kind of excited all the time. And so there should be stuff that you're really excited about. And it doesn't have to just be business or technology or internet. Like, you should just be involved and be excited about stuff that's important.
Okay, just really pursue what we love and enjoy. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
So, can you give us some insight into interviews? Like, what are Google interviews like, and how could a person prepare for them?
So happy to jump in here. On Helpouts, you can go on and take practice interviews with real tech people and get some practice. So highly recommend checking that out. We've partnered with a company called eVisors, and they have a network of people working in tech companies like Google and Apple and Facebook, and they are happy to practice interviews with you anytime. So reach out to Tiffany or anyone on the crew, and I'll get you a $15 off coupon to try it your first time, and you can email me directly with your feedback because we're looking to get people to try it. But in seriousness, a lot of the stuff we talked about, you're going to get asked like what stuff you've done on campus that makes you stand out, that shows that you know how to navigate ambiguity, that shows you how to work hard, and that shows that you're passionate about stuff, and passionate about things that are important.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, we're down to our last two questions. So, number one, what is Google's vision and mission for expanding business in China where there are policy restrictions? Sorry, a little more tough, I know, but.
It's like a presidential debate.
Oh, fair. So, what is Google's vision and mission for expanding businesses in China where there are policy restrictions? We're lots of economics and business speeches here.
Hey, I think you stumped us.
I think you should contact press@google.com.
Okay, we'll give it a second one. How is the work culture at Google? What do you think?
It's pretty, at least in sales, the work culture is pretty work hard, play hard. You're expected to get your work done. I think it's actually pretty similar to my experience at Madison, where you work hard for a little bit, and then Wednesday comes around, and stuff happens. I think it's seriously true though. If you can get your work done, you're working, especially in small business sales. It's a lot of younger people who are also coming out of college, usually living in a new city. It's kind of like freshman year in college. And it's a very jovial, energetic, yet hardworking environment.
Yeah, I can build off that too. I've had a pretty similar experience. I just started. Pretty much everybody on my team is under 25. A lot of really smart people. It is almost like the freshman year, going back to freshman year of college. Everybody wants to, hang out and get to know each other. So it's a really cool, tight-knit group that you end up having with your team. Obviously, all the other points that we've touched on as well. The collaboration, all of that good stuff is really awesome. And a lot of people are really willing to help out. everybody is willing to give a helping hand, so that's pretty cool as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Okay, for your last question then, what keeps you at Google?
Everything.
We'd like everyone to answer this as possible.
I think what keeps me at Google is the amount of responsibility that they're willing to put into a 22-year-old college graduate's hands. It was really cool as an intern and also coming directly out of college. The fact that they would allow me to manage a book of business that drove millions of dollars worth of revenue, and putting that in my hands right out of college and allowing me to take on a huge amount of responsibility while also not micromanaging whatsoever and just saying, yeah, figure out a way to do it, which is a little bit stressful at first to come up and formulate a plan. But once you do, it's a pretty good feeling to think about how you it allows you to reflect about how you work yourself and how you can best get things done.
Awesome, thank you.
I think it's also about being able to learn a lot on your job. So for me, every day I'm learning something new, whether it's a new skill or like learning a new way to analyze a market, or even just learning from mistakes that we make. All of those things are really, really important when I'm only 23 years old, so I won't have those opportunities elsewhere to be able to learn so quickly, have so much responsibility. So that's just keeping me here. I want to learn as much as I can.
Who's next?
Any other thoughts on what keeps you at Google?
Yeah, there's also just so many companies that Google is working on. So we've got YouTube, you've got Android, you have helpouts and Google X. So I think there's a lot of movement within the company. A lot of the people that you see here, if you ask them what they're doing in a year or two, they'll probably be doing something different. Google encourages you to move around quite a bit. And so when you have the opportunity both to move to a different group and know that that group is being led by some visionary person who invented YouTube or invented a search engine, you can feel that you're going to learn a lot from that group. So just the opportunities to try different things and expand your knowledge is really incredible and unmatched. Plus, they pay really well.
It always definitely helps you have a good corporate. Okay, sorry. So I lied about the last question. We have one more for you. If you're willing to do one more question for us, awesome. We would like to know, sorry, I didn't give you an answer this time, but anyway, you're here. So we would like to know what your favorite Google products are. Your top ones, please.
Well, I just switched from an iPhone to an Android, and it took me a while. Actually, a lot of people here still have iPhones, but I think are slowly making the shift to Android. And I've had it for a week, and I would never go back to my iPhone. I absolutely love the capabilities that my Android phone has. And this sounds like I'm super biased, and it sounds like a Google commercial, but honestly, I've loved it since I've made the switch. So anybody considering, just go for it. It's worth it.
All right, well, check that out then.
Do any of you guys have Chromecasts out there?
Woo!
Yes. That's my favorite. That has to be my go-to right now. I'm obsessed with that little thing. I got it for my family for the holidays. I got 4 of them, one for like each TV. And we spent, no joke, like 30 minutes watching puppy and kitten videos. And it was like just this digital like beam came out of the sky, and it was just, it amazed them so much. And it's so useful too, being able to just flip through my phone, throw a show on the TV. That's awesome.
On the go, that is epic.
Next.
So there's this really cool product called Helpouts that I really like. Actually, you know, you really, it's surprising how crucial Google Maps is to my life. I could not live if I didn't have Google Maps. I would have walked off a bridge or gotten lost in the forest or something like that. So I'm very grateful to my Google Maps. I use it every day.
Yeah, I was going to go with more practical ones as well. I really like Maps. Obviously, you know, Gmail and Google Drive are all really make your life easy. So I would have to go with those ones, just the ones that I'm using every day.
Yeah, I think it's a tie for me between the Chromecast, which is awesome because you just basically can go home and stay on your couch and watch Netflix all day. I actually am a huge fan of Google Drive, just because I can't imagine working on docs together and collaborating on projects without it. I'm just so happy that we use our own products here and that all that can be done so easily.
Yeah, and if you ever want to see a Googler freak out, break the internet. They just have no idea what to do. All of our lives are in Gmail and Docs and Search, and none of us have anything stored on our hard drives. So when the internet kinks out, we're lost. We'll go home for the day.
Great. Well, thank you guys all so much for the time that you took out of your day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. Thanks for having us. Try Help Out.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Give us 1 minute.